Looking back on that time now, I can say it was both exciting and scary. Not just because of Trump and AI, but because every person on Earth was beginning to know change was ahead. We could feel the pressure like storm clouds on the horizon, building. For me, though, I began to feel more hopeful for the first time in a long time. Of course, those are on the good days. Most days, I was still just struggling to get out of bed in the morning. I wake up every day and I have this feeling in my body like, fuck. How am I going to get out of this? How is life going to get better? And it feels so overwhelming to me. I just want to go back to sleep or avoid facing that feeling. Being in survival as I was, needing to make some real money, all I did every day was work. But eventually, we have to take care of ourselves. And I was just learning how to do that. How can you do anything if you don't have your health? How can you be effective in building a business or change the world if you don't have energy to do so? And the reality is, the reason our health is struggling is because, I don't know how to put this lightly, we're getting poisoned. It's in our skies. It's in the food we eat. It's in the water that comes out of the faucet. There's a few simple things we can do, and I'll first identify 6 culprits and 6 actions you can take to feel better today. And these are things I've been doing. The first thing is seed oils. This is canola, soybean, safflower, all these oils. We don't realize how bad this is for us, and it's in so much of what we eat. Check the ingredients list, and if you can, replace these for butter or ghee or olive oil, because what these are doing is creating inflammation in the body, and inflammation is what leads to cancer and disease and so many other things. The second thing is pesticides and glyphosate. Look, glyphosate is now sprayed on so much of our food. And unfortunately, it means that you should generally be avoiding oats at this point, as it's really found heavily in oats, so no oat milk or anything like that. Well, on vegetables, it's sprayed a lot, and you can actually remove it if you put some baking soda and water on your vegetables before eating them. It's very effective in getting out the glyphosate. Next, you have air pollution, which contains a number of chemicals, barium, strontium, aluminum, and especially for aluminum, what you can do is you can use cilantro. And cilantro will actually pull the nanoparticle-based aluminum right out of your body and bloodstream. So cilantro is pretty easy. Go eat some tacos. Most cities in the United States still put fluoride in the water. The government is basically putting a chemical in your water that has been shown to lower IQ levels in studies done on children. And there's no way to just get it out without having some special filters. So I recommend reverse osmosis water, which does remove the fluoride. Microplastics are in almost everything now, and it's linked to heart attack and stroke risk. What you can do here is just try to use more glass and steel containers and get away from plastics as much as you can. And more than anything, our own nervous system regulation creates stress or creates relaxation. Most of us are overworked, underslept, we're worried about money, and so our cortisol, which is our stress hormone, is naturally higher. Breath work, meditation, stretching, anything that you can use to regulate your own nervous system is going to be really helpful. And I've been doing my best, let me tell you. All right, folks, got my ass out of bed, feeling heavy, but heading out, this is it. When you're trying to change your life at first, nothing seems like it's changing, and you have to keep taking action anyway. I think for me, understanding all of this actually gives me purpose. There's something about fighting the good fight that's always been so important to who I am as a person, and there is a battle, and we're in it, and the choices we make every day matter. This is bigger than us. We are playing a multi-generational game, and we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. You know, even if my life will never go as I thought it would, even if I never have a family or achieve real financial success, at the very least, I can devote myself.
Got myself up. It's 7 now. If everything I've learned is correct, it's going to be a good day.
When I think back to that time, the biggest thing that changed wasn't just the things I started doing. It was that I started to slowly believe again, to trust again that there was some higher power that was here to help me.
So my friend hits me up the other night, and we don't talk that much, but she's like, hey, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, there's this thing happening tonight, a concert in OB. It's been a while. And I've been working all day, every day, and I'm in my mind, like, I can't go to concerts. I got so much to do. Like, that's 3 or 4 hours I could use, like, working. But something deeper in me was like, no, you got to go. And it's listening for that little voice that tells you to pause whatever your ego's story is, right? Mine was about work. Maybe yours is about not working, or maybe it's about some other thing that you are attached to. And that's the key. The ego gets attached to certain things being how it wants. And when we start to hear that voice from the universe, I think it often comes in the form of asking us to let go of that attachment and to just step into the unknown. So I'm like, sure, why not? I don't even know what kind of music this is.
I showed up at the venue to this kind of devotional, hippie chanting music, but, well, in this case, they're remixing Taylor Swift's Karma in a really cool way that I thought was dope. And as I was in the crowd, I started meeting a couple interesting folks, people with whom there was some reason to connect, related to other topics in my life. And when I started to feel those little things clicking, I knew I was in the right place. And later in the night, the last song they played spoke to my soul in a profound way. After the show, I wandered through the streets of OB. I allowed the universe to direct me. One hostess told me a bar I should go to get food, and so I just trusted her recommendation. And as I walked in, I ran into an old friend of mine, the guy right there with the Knicks shirt on. And we ended up playing pool and having some really cool conversations.
You know, as I walk home from that experience, it was cool. Like, I didn't know anybody. I felt a little shy when I walked in there. It's been a while since I've been in like a bar, you know, and it's just like magical how I met this buddy of mine that I met 5 years ago, and we got to talk about just life, you know, and fuck around and just talk shit and win a couple of pool games. And I was pretty bad at first and then got better. And it's just like everything in life is just like waiting for us. You know, we just say yes. We don't have to understand the answers. Like, I just go follow the signs, follow the unknown, keep trusting that there's something good happening, and don't put it in your mind that you're off, or that the things that didn't work out the way you thought is for any reason other than you're being rerouted, you know, by the cosmic operator. Okay, so I'm back in the crib. The other thing about tonight that was really significant to me wasn't just to go out to see some band play or see my friend or listen to Taylor Swift covers or, you know, run into this buddy at pool and have some serendipitous moment. It was while I was out, the last song that the band played was about, it was literally, the mantra of the song was, it's time for your music to be heard. Time for your song to be sung. And I got chills as I was listening to the song, like it was a message just for me. Does that mean that the band wrote it just for me? No. But did it mean that there's a higher power working through everything in our life to give us the sign, as if we're just open enough to listen to them and see them? And then I walked through town looking for a restaurant, and the place I was going was closed. You know, and I'm trusting in the girl. I went to this closed restaurant. She gave me another recommendation. I didn't know. I was like, cool, I'll go there. I'm just following the path, like I have when I was in my late teens and 20s, like when I was deep in this faith that the universe is always working. And as I was walking down the street, again, I thought in my mind, I was just like, you know, I think the universe is always guiding me. And then right there across the street out of this bar there was no music, and then someone over the loudspeaker, like in that moment I thought about it, just yells, "Music!" Which, again, to me, I interpreted that as the universe saying, "Hey, dude, don't give up on your music. Maybe you just keep working on it and something magical happens." And, you know, it's like I know I have to keep making music, you know, as an unknown artist that is kind of scared that AI has already done everything so much better than I ever could. And yet, this is the guidance. And then the days came when things really did start to shift. Enough of the work, enough of the investing in the future, enough of making the right choice, and suddenly I start to feel some wind in my sails. I started to feel momentum. Yo, such a beautiful day today. And there's this sense of happiness that I haven't felt in a long time. I mean, the skies are crystal blue. People are in a good mood. I just went to my favorite coffee shop for a bit. There's some, younger up-and-comer kids who are working there, and they just hooked me up with free coffee. It's like little stuff like that, that tells you just like life is good. Why is my, hold up. It's been, when you go through a hard time and you get your ego broken down, it's actually really healthy for us to have that hardship. I think hardship is one of the things that everybody needs to go through at least one period in their life of intense hardship. Because on the other side of that, you come out a better human, appreciating life, being humble, caring more about others, because you realize that nothing is to be taken for granted. And I feel that. Deeply. And, I just had an awesome day driving around, found 2 prospective cars to buy. They're shitty cars in the sense that they're cheap and, they need some maintenance, but to me, they'll be everything because I'll have wheels again. My cousin's selling this car tomorrow, so I gotta hurry up and make the purchase. And just that sense of taking action, moving forward in my life, these small steps, like it just all compounds today and makes me feel happy. Let's go. At a certain point, you have to care for yourself in the sense of giving yourself the appreciation and not to rely on that for anyone else to give that to you. And so I'm feeling that in this moment. The other thing is, to somebody else might see these things as relatively small, but to me, they have great significance because it's like I'm fighting through the obstacles that might have otherwise really weighed me down. And so don't let anybody make you feel small for the little wins that you're going to get. Don't even let yourself make yourself feel small for those little wins. Pulling up to go help a brother now. And myself, because we both share the same passion, which is music. And we're both pretty far behind on our missions of where we're supposed to be. But never too late. In the final analysis, the demons also serve God. And the struggle exists to refine and purify those of us who seek to become our best. The door is always there, and we just have to find it. And probably clean it sooner rather than later.